I'm completely alone. I don't have children and no family too. She's like my daughter, you know, and I'm so lucky to have her there. Anytime, whenever I need her, she's always there. She helps me with my groceries, takes me to the doctors, whatever checkups I have to go to, she takes me everywhere, which is a big, big blessing. I love her so much. I don't think that I would have loved even my own child. I love her, just complete, total.
Good evening, everyone. I can't really see anyone. That's a good thing. You know, it'll help me because I'm nervous. I've never been on stage for an event like this. But thank you. But I love my voice and I love hearing myself. My voice has changed after, because when they did the thyroidectomy, they removed the thyroid and they retransplanted my own parathyroids back. But my voice is never the same. And then, like, I have to clear, if I talk too much, I have to clear my throat many times. Sometimes it feels like it sounds hoarse, you know, as if like I have a cold. But my voice is not the same, and I can't sing. No. I can't. But then I found my true voice.
Chicago, when I was in Chicago. I was like, okay, now it's a trip, and that trip had a purpose. There you go.
That is really something. Wow. Wow. Oh, sorry, you're waiting for me. I gotta go dress up. See you guys. Bye.
Okay, so the way I had in mind,
Sure, not a problem. I can just pick.
are they meditating? Are they nervous? Are they pacing back and forth? What kind of vibe are they going?
Sure, you have your tickets. Yes. And this is the one that's on its own, so you can decide who's sitting on their own. And then ask anybody throughout the whole hall. Okay.
For less than 5 minutes, 5:30.
Okay.
3 minutes green, 4 minutes yellow.
I was doing it 4 minutes green and whatever.
Oh no, I am going to meditate. Yes. So I'm asking, so this is the question.
Excuse everybody, then I.
Usually what happens when you're walking in, people are clapping for you, and then now you're talking as they're clapping you.
Okay.
You lose the power there. It's better to wait.
Okay.
We have to get ready as well.
My name is Shireen. I am a mother of 4 children. I love dancing. I love cooking and feeding people. I have a long list of things I love. I have been speaking on stage. I've written 2 books so far. I'm right now creating an online program so that people don't have to come out of their homes to access empowerment. The bit of traveling that I've done around the world, I'm absolutely intrigued to discover that people are actually the same everywhere. Everyone is connected, even though these countries are far away. I've always been focused on not finding the differences, but what's common that connects people together. So it's been interesting. I was born in India, particularly in the city of Calcutta, which is a very warm-hearted city. My parents they had an interreligious marriage, and my mother is a Hindu by birth. Her family was traditionally from Calcutta, that is in West Bengal. And my father's ancestors were from Samarkand, Bukhara, Central Asia. They were silk merchants who followed the Silk Route to India many, many years ago in the 1800s. And the first Bengal silk mill was established by our family. So it's been quite a cultural mix. For us, you could tell that they have some connection with Myanmar, and some of them spoke the language of Gujarat, so it was a great blend. And we were almost 30 cousins growing up in the same mansion. My dad had 9 brothers and sisters. Few of them were disabled from birth, and even disability was normal for me because I was born seeing, oh, some people can walk, some people can't walk, it's okay, but they're all part of the family. And that's been a great blessing for me because I am able to connect with people and embrace them for who they are.
Over there where the snacks are.
Okay, perfect. You've all done this before, you're all professionals, you know how it works. What's gonna happen is, I want maybe 9 of you, the last 9 to come out and sit in the front row. The other 5, I want you to stay back here on the side of the stage so that you're ready to go and it's quick and easy. I don't want it to be painful. You'll be getting mic'd right outside the stage. There's a separate area. We'll have to figure that when we get in there.
And
Once we go
there's
through.
always the yin and the yang. So as much as there was love and togetherness and a lot of events like marriages or festivals or deaths or hardships brought them together, and then there were moments that caused a lot of disharmony between them. That's how I grew up, confused and learning and loving and making mistakes and, in a way, accepting abuse as normal. Because when the family members fought and when they were in the heat of an argument, there used to be bad words flying out. And sometimes there used to be fights, sometimes there used to be nasty things said about each other. That made me more tolerant to abuse because I thought that's how every family lives.
You guys know? To go to the chairs, not to like the.
I loved going to school. That was my space for achievement because there were tests and there were exams and there were prizes and there was sports and there was concerts, and it was kind of an escape from a lot of things that happened at home, the unpleasant things. It was a very encouraging space for me, for growing and learning and expanding. And I was very enthusiastic, and I was an avid reader. My mom would have to snatch the book away from me because I would be like, one more page, and everybody on the table is waiting for me for dinner. And I'd be like, wait, I need to know one more. And I would go on reading, any book, like I'd just eat it up. The fairy tales are my escape. And somehow, sometimes, when life is too real, that's when I look for that magic. was only 15 when he first came home. I could hardly hear him speak because he spoke so softly. And I was this bag of loud giggles. My mother would often say to me, "Look at you and look at him. When are you going to learn to speak softly?" He didn't have a voice. His voice was choked by the agony of seeing his mother die in a fire. He witnessed his mother burn alive at the tender age of 5. With the death of his mother, he had lost his nurturer, and he was extremely traumatized. To add to his trauma, there entered a stepmother in his life, and he was sent away to a boarding school. He ran away from the boarding school and found himself a new home in a school friend's family. While he was in boarding school, he learned something. Life sucks and drugs work. That was his experience in the dorms of the boarding school. From a very young age, he had to earn his own money, and now he was here in our lives, in my life. This great desire to live and do big things and great things. Of course, it was Beauty and the Beast. Well, Beauty gets to be the good one who changes the Beast. Beauty is the hero of the story. You know, she went to find her dad, and she got her dad back. And usually it's the prince saving the princesses in every other story. Even in Sleeping Beauty or Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's the prince who comes and wakes the princess up. But here it's Beauty who goes and, wakes the Beast up into a prince. I loved Beauty and the Beast. Always I wanted to be like that. So, with my first marriage, my ex-husband was an amazing. The prince in him was the gentleman in him. The erudite, the soft-spoken, very knowledgeable, and very warm, very humble. That was the prince in him. The beast was the curse of doing drugs. And so as a human being, or as a person, or as his life partner, to be able to dissect the two, separate the two, and to see him for the prince that he was, that was my curse, because I kept going in the marriage. Because I wanted to be this beauty who would transform him and make him back into the prince that he actually was. I think my ex-husband wanted to change, but the power of the beast was too overbearing for him, where he gave in and surrendered to it and didn't want to change. So beauty can't do anything. If the beast chooses to remain a beast, you cannot interfere with someone's free will. Even the gods don't do that. I got my divorce, and now I was staying at my parents' place, and it was a nightmare. The same home where I was born and I was raised and I belonged, that was the place where I was most unwelcome. And my circumstances have not allowed me to showcase my breakdown, because I've always had to be responsible. I had a daughter. If I showcase my breakdown, well, how is it going to occur to her? She will see that I am weak. My mother was pretty strict, and she didn't want me to go into a depression, and she expected me to do chores in the house while I'm doing my studies for my B.Ed, and I've gone back to school after 10 years. And going through a marriage breakup and going through starting to study again, it takes something to put your mind back on track. Those were really hard times for me, and my mom is not the kind of person who will be like, oh, my baby, you went through this, like no pity, like move on, what's next? But my dad, every time I cried, he cried. My father's never used a bad word on us. He's never raised his hand on us. He was like the mother of the house. And his way of dealing with a disagreement was, if it doesn't work out, walk away from it, but don't get down to the level of arguments. And Mom and I never got along. Never, never, never. And that doesn't mean she was wrong. She was very strict. She made it really hard for me. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor. I lived out of plastic bags. And even though she had a spare room, she wouldn't give it to me because she thought I will slacken and I will not rebuild my life. If I didn't have the pressure, I don't think I would have got married again.
Carol, Shireen. Shireen in there? You need to get Mike now, so when you do walk out with your documentary crew, you're set up. Where's Carol? Hey. What's up?
Shireen Arif, my ingredients for a perfect Indian curry.
Standing on the steps of the symbol of eternal love, the Taj Mahal. Just like a scene from a classic Hollywood romance movie, my handsome new husband sweeps me up in his arms and leans over to kiss me. Something not acceptable in those times in my culture. Just like any woman swept up in a passionate reverie, I cannot ever imagine that the fireworks between us will ever fizzle out. Wow.
He was so romantic. He was singing for me and speaking poetry. And I was like, this is the fairy tale, and this was the fairy tale of my life that I was thinking of. Like I finally found the man of my dreams. And I was like, what was I thinking? Thank God I said yes to him. And while I was on my honeymoon, I fell in love with him. The 2 years that I was waiting for him in India, he came 7 times. That man who was so in love with me, who couldn't live moments without me, we spent hours and hours and hours, and he spent thousands of dollars calling me. He came on Valentine's Day. Then a few months later, it was May, and it was my birthday. He was there. He surprised me, and he came to India to cut a cake with me for my first birthday after I got married to him. And obviously he applied for my visa and, so that he could sponsor me as his wife while I was still in India. And I had no idea how, I read as a teacher teaching geography. I talked about lumbering in Canada, and I talked about the cold, the climate, the tundra, and all of that. But Toronto seemed warm, and people live. It's pretty crowded, and people live there. So I thought there must be a way how everybody lives. So I'm going to live, and the snow is going to be beautiful. And I had never seen the snow.
I was standing at the door of what was promised to be my lakeside home. I clutched my young daughter as we walked past the prostitute standing at the door and made our way up to a dingy room with only a mattress on the floor. My new husband said to me, "Welcome to Canada. I will be back tomorrow morning." And then he left us. My blood ran cold. This was the beginning of my life in Canada. What followed next were 8 years of torture. Despite having 3 beautiful children with him, I was reduced to a slave in my own home, enduring endless emotional and verbal abuse while my husband continued to live with his ex-wife and have children with her. He visited me only to get his office work done and to use and abuse me.
I would say he was a beast. I mean, he was a beast in the way he spoke. The beast was riding his tongue. And again, the prince in him was very magnificent. He could be this great human being who's capable of a lot of affection and a lot of love and a lot of discipline and a lot of care for other people. At the same time, it's okay for women to go through hardship. It's okay for women to be treated badly, and it's a man's prerogative to just treat her however. So that was the beast side of him, and I tried to harness that beast, and I became a beast.
Chanda mama, चंदा नीला सरा चांद कहीं उग से जीवे सती मामा गया छे गाँव घोड़ चढ़ी पाछा आव से जीरे
I became extremely reactive and defensive, and I started putting up a war with that beast. And I'm going back again to my discovery about the way my father handled things. He'd walk away. He wouldn't get in the dirt and wrestle. But I got in the dirt and I wrestled, and things only get dirty. And so it became very ugly in the end, where I lost my beauty. That's when I had an attack of Bell's palsy, and my face was twisted like this, and my tongue was numb, half of my tongue, and this eye wasn't closing. I was just alone with my daughter, and it was very scary. I thought I was dying.
"You are ugly," he said to me. I began to loathe myself and sat for hours in the washroom, clenching a fistful of Tylenol pills. Lights turned out and tears flooding down my distorted face. I wanted to die. But my children,
I didn't sleep. For years, I would have that monkey chatter in my head of his voice and all the swears and all the abuses, you know, and it would go on all night. I actually fought for my marriage because I believed he loved me.
on a random day midweek, knowing that the children will be occupied and we will have some time together, I slip into my finest lingerie and stand over a steaming pot of his favorite curry dish. I had infused the curry with my own magic love potion, adding a sprinkle of temptation, a dash of romance, and a splash of desire. In all my brilliance, I grew up knowing one thing for sure, that the way to a man's heart is through the stomach. What I also know for sure is that love conquers all. I will conquer love, and I will have my all. I hear the key turn in the door. He walks right in, and he says, "What's cooking? Something smells good." He pushes the dirty plate towards me and gets up to wash his hands. I stand up too, boldly in my silky lingerie, as if I were dessert. Hum chale? Wait, what? This doesn't sound like an invitation to love. Hum chale? Can I leave now? I fight back tears and I insist that I will not let him go. He laughs, and I watch him leave. I know exactly where he's going. He's going to her. He's done this before. My body turns cold, and I become manic. And the tiny voice in my head becomes my warrior's chant. Love conquers all. I will have my all. Love conquers all. I will have my all. I grab my jacket, run out the door, jump in the car, and drive after him. I catch up with him. Luck is on my side. The traffic lights are red. I jump out of my car again and run over to his car and knock on the driver's side window. He rolls down the window and he's shocked to see me. I grab him by his arms and scream like a siren, "I will not let you go." I'm oblivious to everything around me. I'm oblivious to the ridiculousness of my pleas. He coldly pushes my hands away and drives off. Doesn't love conquer all?
The wake-up call was cancer. So I thought there was no other way for me but to keep putting up with this for the rest of my life. I was miserable. I've cried so much in my life that my tears have dried up now, you know, and just as strong as I feel, I'm tired. I am really tired of being strong. And there are days when I feel like I really want to be a baby, and I want someone like my dad, or I want someone in this world where I can, lean on and rest my shoulder and say, can you take care of my life? I'm done. Like, I'm tired. I'm really tired of doing it alone. I'm really tired. It's a lot that I went through, and I'm like a puppy dog. A lost dog. When a dog is lost, it'll try to go into this house and this house and this house and this house, and it'll try to look for, like, where is my family, or where is the person who will care for me. I've been like that dog that, let's knock here, let's knock here, let's knock here. Will I find some home in someone's heart?
Oh my god! Guys.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah. I can't read. Here we have it. The tree of life. And it's an actual tree.
So it's locked right now. You have to turn it like this, open it, then put the tree in, then
Okay, so.
and lock it.
Okay.
There's more nuts.
Okay. It's okay, it can be under there.
Okay. It's coming off, guys. It's coming off. Ow! Guys, it's coming off.
I've had no choice but to be strong. Where am I going to break down and cry? To who? I went through the entire divorce process and my cancer all together at once. My youngest one was 3 years old, and then my twins were 6. My daughter, the older one, how scary it must have been for her at 19 to suddenly be dumped with 3 kids and the responsibility of raising them. She's a kid herself. And so she showed up for me, and she showed up for her brothers and sisters. And then there were a bunch of moms in the children's school, and they worked it out so beautifully to support my daughter through those days when I went through my surgery, and that was my turning point. I got a glimpse of what would happen to my children. I just begged on the surgery table and asked God that, you got to give me a chance. I got to live for my kids. That's when I really didn't want to die. as time went by and I collected myself together with all the meditation and yoga, and I did a lot of reading and listening to powerful people sharing their stories of adversity and what they've been through, and it just opened up a new way of looking at life and relationship. And it just showed me a different way of being, and to embrace life and accept life, and I shifted completely. I've given love and I've received immense love. And then eventually I started speaking and sharing my story so that I could empower others. And it took me 2 years to write my book that narrates my life story. I'm saving you from making your own scars. So that's my intention of sharing my story with other people, that if you see red flags in a relationship, if someone is being toxic and abusing you, don't wait till you get cancer. Quit the marriage, choose yourself. That's my lesson.
When the right leadership arises, like Shirin, we open new chapters. So that's why she's leading with your story, and she's absolutely outstanding.
I've written a book and about my story as an immigrant woman, and taking it up from there, and like breaking the book up into, a program where I can impact people one-on-one and in a group. That's what I'm looking at.
Good. Well, thank you for coming in today, and we'll have Kaldeep take you downstairs now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you so
great.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
We will.
We can? Is that even a question? All through in Canada, I lived my life feeling threatened and afraid to stand up for myself, to even think, what is it that I would like? What is it that I would want? Or who am I? I was totally non-existent. So in a way, that day, on the day of my surgery, I died. Who you see in front of you now is not that woman, not that disempowered, broken woman. Empowerment of a woman does not mean being at war with a man. It does not mean bringing him down. It does not mean not liking them or trusting them. It means to set healthy boundaries and show him how to treat you. It is up to you to feel empowered. Every time I share my story, every time I impact a life, every time I stand in front of a group of people and I talk, I do an empowerment act for myself.
Whoa. Go, girl.
Right? I also urge you to understand that you always, always have a choice. There are tons of families in Canada where women are being abused behind closed doors. And the problem is they will not share their stories because it is shameful. Because you don't speak against your family members. That's not a good woman. I had to be good and nice to people. I'm a bad girl now. And that's okay. Break taboos.
Once home, I sit on my bed and begin to undress. No, not for love. I take off the shield. I take off the pretense. I take off the desperation, and I sit there naked with the truth for 8 long years. Today, I'm cooking my delicious curry again. And along with the perfect ingredients, I now add a dash of forgiveness, a pinch of compassion, and a huge dollop of self-love. The aroma fills up my kitchen, and I draw the spoon to my mouth and smile, knowing that love does not need to be conquered. Like any delicious curry, love simply requires to be savored. Thank you.
When she came, she was completely different, you know. She was shy. She was going through a very bad time. And then suddenly she's a beautiful flower. And I'm very happy to see that. Very happy to see that.
On the other side of the mountain of fear lies the sacred valley of love. It cradles the life that we live in here and mirrors what it is above. The skies adorn a rainbow clear. The trees are purple and pink. You are not judged for who you are, and you can think whatever you think. I came from that sacred valley once, and will tell you what I think. If we don't love each other, dear, this world would be extinct.
It's never too late to save a life, to stop a fight, to hold a hand and take a stand. It's never too late to love again, or even just to change the game. It's never too late to breathe a prayer or simply say that I don't care. It's never too late when life begins. When you don't give up, you let courage win.
A sunrise and sunset, the ocean tides that flow and ebb, the new moon and the full, the rhythm of every rule that keeps the universe together, the flow of life from now to never, a dream, a wish, a whole life fulfilled, and to you my every heartbeat willed.